Hey, this is Mariela from the Functional Company. All right, have you ever noticed how a remedy works sometimes, but then other times it doesn't quite work the same way? And you even try to apply it to something which seems like a similar symptom, so that's why you reach for that supplement or that remedy, but then it didn't work. So I'll give you an example of this. I was talking to a gentleman who has a very reliable remedy that he's used throughout the years for several decades. And actually in Mexico, it's a very common remedy for stomach bugs, which is called a piedrita, which means a little rock. And it includes anise, which is an anti-parasitic, fernet, which is a very bitter liqueur, and tequila. And so he used to use this for stomach bug or anytime he had a queasy stomach, and it worked like a charm. But then a couple of times he used it because he had similar symptoms, and then it didn't work. And he recommended it to somebody, and sometimes it would work and sometimes it wouldn't. So it almost kind of invalidated the remedy, and he stopped trusting the remedy. So then he actually had a situation where he had diarrhea for like 5 whole days, and nothing was taking it away. Supplements that he was used to taking, they weren't taking it away. And he was actually also traveling, so he didn't have too many things at his disposal. So when I spoke with him, I said, hey, how about that remedy that you used to take? I don't think you need tequila in this case, but the other two seem like very valuable because one of them is very bitter, the other one's an anti-parasitic. So I think you could try these things again. And he was like, okay. So he tried it, and he also had some fiber. So I said, take the fiber, take those two, and then let me know how it goes. And boom, it completely took it away. And he was surprised, and he actually told me, you know what? I used to really trust this remedy, but a couple of times that I used it, it didn't work. So I just thought it didn't work anymore. And I said, well, the reason why it works when it works and it doesn't when it doesn't, it depends on the source of the reason why you're getting the symptom. Because you can get diarrhea for so many different reasons. Maybe you got food poisoning, maybe there's a parasite, maybe there's chemical toxicity, maybe you have a food allergy. There's so many different reasons why somebody would get loose stools, right? And so if it has to do with the pathogen, with the bug, maybe parasites, bacteria, etc., that remedy is going to be fantastic. But if the source or the reason why you're having the symptom of diarrhea is because of a chemical toxicity or something like that, it might not be as effective. So that's why it works when it works and it doesn't when it doesn't. Does it mean that it's a bad tool or it's a bad remedy? No, it just means that we have to learn when to apply the tools in our toolbox. So if you went and used a hammer to soak up a bunch of water, you'd be like, this hammer is a terrible tool. But you can't just toss it out completely, because if you need to hammer in a nail, it's the perfect tool. Well, the same thing is true with supplements and remedies, natural remedies. We have to learn that symptoms apparently seem similar, but oftentimes have different sources or different causes, different reasons why a certain symptom is coming up. A person can have bloating or headaches or lack of sleep, all these different kinds of symptoms that show up, but the source or the reason why that symptom is showing up can vary, and so the remedy will vary. So it's very important to think with these things, and not because something isn't working doesn't mean that it's a terrible remedy and you should just kind of throw the baby out with the bathwater, right? We have to know when to apply certain things. The other thing is that we also sometimes have to learn that we have to apply the tool long enough to see a result. Because if you do have a hammer and you have a nail and you only hit it once and it didn't go in all the way, you wouldn't just say, oh, no, this tool doesn't work. You keep using the hammer until the nail went in all the way. The same is true with remedies and supplements. Sometimes you have to do things more than once to actually get the therapeutic result or the therapeutic effect that you're looking for. So obviously this takes more knowledge, and it takes a lot of application, learning, and things like that. So the only thing I want to mention in this case is just don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Learn when to apply certain tools, and sometimes it can be confusing, but that's why we have specialists, people with toolboxes who have been trained to know when to pick up the hammer, when to pick up the sponge, and how long to apply it for. And those people are natural healthcare practitioners, acupuncturists, chiropractors, clinical nutritionists, even medical doctors who apply natural remedies. There's all kinds of healthcare professionals that are trained to know how to help you effectively resolve whatever it is that you're dealing with your health. Of course, there are some things that you're going to be able to do on your own, and with this guy, you know, he was traveling and he didn't really have a lot of things accessible to him, but he always had these 2 remedies accessible. And so it was like, why not try it? And in this case, it really worked, right? Of course, it's very important, very useful to have some at-home remedies, learn when to apply them, learn how long to apply them for, and then also learn that when you say, you know what, I'm stumped, I'm not sure what to do, then you got to phone a friend, and your friend is these healthcare practitioners who are there to help you see the way out, you know, and see you all the way through back to the point of health and thriving long term, right? All right, thanks so much for tuning in. That's all I want to mention this time around. Hopefully that was a helpful tip, and I will see you on the flip side.